Asherlo. It's a big rant.
And welcome back, everybody, and welcome back to a new show. Well, kind of a new show, because Kevin's back.
Yeah.
There you go. That weird hello was Kevin.
Yeah, that was me. I'm welcoming myself back. Hey,
Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah. You remember Kevin? We did the Obi-Wan show with him. And from now on, we're going to do more television stuff. So I'm still going to do like TV, movie stuff with Kazi, and do stuff with a few other friends that's coming up soon. But yes, we are going to do television stuff with Kevin from now on. Anytime anything meets our fancy. I'm a little bit excited at the moment, not because of what we're about to discuss, which is the first episode of She-Hulk. I was going to say She-Ra. She-Ra, but I'm just really excited because apparently Doctor Who, which I'm guessing we're going to be reviewing as well on this.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
New Doctor Who stuff. I will review the shit out of that.
Yeah, and we usually do when we talk about it privately anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doctor Who is coming out with some Magic the Gathering cards. Probably be commander sets and stuff, but like that's pretty crazy. But yeah, cool. Looking forward to that. But yeah, let's get. Well, first of all, Karen, how are you?
I'm doing all right. It's been a while since I last existed in people's consciousnesses, and because of that, I haven't really existed as a person. So now that people can hear my voice again, I once again can exist.
Very abstract of you.
You know, like how when a baby stops looking at you, you stop existing to the baby. It's very much like that, but that's just how I live.
I wish you kind of finished the sentence without saying "to the baby." You know, when a baby doesn't look at you and you stop existing.
Yeah, we're all just fake,
Yeah,
except when a baby perceives us.
Which
I
is
hope
very-
you all realize this.
Which is very interesting in how babies come into existence. If you consider
It's like the Matrix, except much weirder.
which is saying something. But
Mhm.
yeah, we're reviewing She-Hulk. First of all, just genuine opinion. How much do you know about She-Hulk?
Like in general, like before this show came out or was advertised or whatever, my knowledge of She-Hulk was
That she
that
was a Hulk
it was
and she was a she.
she was a Hulk.
Yeah.
I knew a little bit about her. I knew that she was generally more in control of the Hulk thing than Bruce was. I knew that she had she worked with like pretty much fucking any team that would ever. She was in Fantastic Four. She was in Avengers. She was in fucking anything, and she also adamantly refuses to having slept with the Juggernaut. Those are the three things I know about She-Hulk.
Yeah. Stuff I knew was that she was Bruce's cousin. I think she got the radioactive stuff similar to him, but she needed a blood transfusion from him. So she was. Yeah. I think she was still near where it happened in the comics with Bruce, with some nuclear radiation, but it didn't affect her or something. Again, I don't know much. Yeah, like you said, I know that she was kind of more in control of herself. She mostly seems to stay in Hulk form while she does her work. But yeah, that's kind of what I know of her.
Mm-hmm.
But let's
jump. In complete fairness, I knew more about her going into this than I knew about Moon Knight going into Moon Knight.
Oh, I knew nothing about Moon Knight except that
I knew
Vampire
he
owes him
existed.
some money or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I knew he existed. I knew about some memes, but from what I've heard, those memes were completely bullshit.
Oh,
so,
that's a shame.
Or at least they were mostly bullshit.
Yeah.
I've seen a few where like no one has told me if they're fake or not, so I'm assuming they're real for my own enjoyment.
Yeah. That's fair. But yeah, let's jump into the actual episode. So straight away, we kind of learn that this show is going to be a lot of, hey, I'm looking at the camera and looking at the audience, and I like when she's talking to us, it seems like she's meta within her own right. She knows this is a television show. She knows, like, these special scenes and that kind of things. How do you feel about shows like that?
I like it depends on the show. I think some shows can. I think not just shows, but like just media in general. I think some media can do it really well. I think some media can be stupid overbearing with it.
Deadpool, yeah.
Um,
Um,
when you say Deadpool, I don't think of the movie. I think of specifically the game Deadpool. I
oh
know a lot of
yeah,
people. I know a lot of people like that game. I found that game irritating. Uh,
yeah,
just because Deadpool would not shut the fuck up. I know that's the point of Deadpool,
yeah,
but please, like I'm not supposed to be suffering at Deadpool's hands here.
yeah.
Um,
Deadpool had an interesting like development as a character because he kind of started off as being more like Spider-Man, like a few wisecracking things, and then he does his business. But
yeah,
now he is a meme. Like I mean, if there's ever been a character that's been a meme, it's Deadpool.
yeah. Either that or Gwenpool, but she's not mainstream enough.
Yeah, I like Gwenpool a lot.
Um, yeah. I mean, give it. You know what? I would actually, not to go off tangent, but if they made a Gwenpool show that's a person from the real world being sucked into the MCU and becoming a superhero, I'd be fine with that.
I'd want it still like to be a girl, but I also want it to be played by who?
By
Oh,
Ryan
who?
Reynolds,
No. Who's the guy that basically runs Marvel at the moment?
Kevin Feige.
Yeah, Feige. I want to be Feige,
You
but
want
I want it to be Feige.
Gwenpool to be.
But everyone sees Feige as a girl in it, but he's very aware that this is the Marvel universe. What is he doing here?
I mean, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for Feige just to cast himself as like the one above all or some shit.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But
let's hope he doesn't do that.
I really hope he, unless it's like the stupidest special effect. They're like, it's him. It's the one above all. And it's just like that one JPEG of his face smiling. Like if that's it, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that's the dumbest joke ever.
yeah.
But yeah, so I'm fine with it depending. Like I don't think this episode was too overbearing with it. There was one like joke where she talked to the camera. I think maybe two
There's two.
jokes
There
were.
was at the very beginning, and there was one when she
Well,
talked about
well, no,
Bruce.
yeah, no. What that I think there was like two in the. So like the first one was her putting up the how the story was going to be told in this
Yeah.
series. Not this series, this episode, which was just the episode is being told to us by Jennifer in the future after everything in the first episode has happened.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Because we already
that's
said,
like
are you gonna Hulk out in the court? You
yeah,
know.
yeah. So like that's why that's happening. And
Yeah.
then I think they do at least one joke. I think for some reason I feel they did a second, but I just can't remember when it was.
Yeah.
Where she does a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge at the camera. I hope it doesn't get too wink, wink, nudge, nudge at the camera,
Yeah.
but like I mean I'm okay with a little
Yeah.
bit of that.
Like I'm not
Just
sick of it yet at all.
I'm not sick of it
No.
if they're okay with it.
Yeah, once or twice an
Um,
episode. Yeah, fair enough. That's your
Perfectly
shtick.
fine.
Yeah.
Like perfectly fine. It's like the opposite of the thing I had with Miss Marvel, where like, wow, Miss Marvel has funky editing, and not enough funky editing. It's like we're gonna do very little of it
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
per episode. Whereas this, I'm fine. Keep it held back, um, with what it is.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, so she's telling us the story. She like episode opens up with her giving her like she's practicing a closing statement for court. Someone makes a joke, "Are you going to Hulk out on the other guy?" And then she's like,
Yeah.
"Nah." And then she tells us the story of how she became a Hulk.
Yeah, I found it interesting that what she was talking about, like her statement, it was obviously very much an introduction of, look, people with powers have to, like, I was definitely expecting a Spider-Man quote at one stage, but, like,
Yeah.
they have to be held responsible. And
Yeah.
I liked it, and then we said, okay, politicians. And that's a very fair point to make. Yes, obviously politicians need to be held accountable. But I like that kind of dual dynamic that they made, you know?
Yeah. I'm gonna like I'm gonna probably talk more in depth about this over the course of this because I don't know about how this show is going to do it. I don't because I like I said I don't know how this is going to go, but I would kind of much more appreciate if this was more of like a courtroom procedural comedy, than a full blown superhero show.
Yeah.
because I feel like there's some interest in that, and it isn't just Marvel, you know.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So I'd like that. I'd probably go a bit more in depth with that over the course because we got very little courtroom stuff in this episode. We got the beginning scene, we got the ending scene,
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna be honest.
that's
This episode flew by. I was
yeah,
like by the
very
time we
quick.
got to the end, I was just like, is it over? Like I had to check the time. So like I guess that's a very good sign anyway.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I enjoyed it. I
yeah.
enjoyed it for sure, but
I suppose we can go into what kind of continue from there. So we had a bit of a flashback, and so she's Bruce's cousin, Jennifer Walters, played by Tatiana Maslany.
yes,
I'm definitely mispronouncing that second name. So
yeah.
apologies.
Just say it quicker. Just say it quicker, and it's
Tatiana
easier.
Maslany. Anyway,
Yeah. Mumble it, and no one will tell if you're wrong.
But yeah, she has this ongoing thing to prove that Captain America's a virgin, which has been again. I think it's like the MCU being very self-aware of what people talk about amongst the fandom.
It's a very common little gag.
Yeah.
With the fan base, they're like, I don't think it's only Steve. I think there's a few people who believe Bruce is a virgin too. And like but like Steve is the perfect target for this.
I don't think like Bruce is, because I mean it's again about those Hulk movies. Like I know one's only canon to the MCU, but to be fair, the first one's kind of canon to the second one as well. Like it's weird, and he had a girlfriend and all that, before he became the Hulk.
Girlfriend. But do you have any evidence that they had sex? Do you have any evidence?
I'm gonna have there's a good gamble there that he probably had. Like he was getting ready to marry her and everything.
Okay, wait. We're talking about the 2003 movie, yeah.
Yeah,
no, that version of Bruce Banner could not. Could not. He was the most awkward motherfucker.
Yeah, but that's just Bruce Banner, isn't it, in general? I mean, even Mark Ruffalo is a bit of a weirdo. Wait, hold on. Are you telling me that the Hulk didn't bang people on that weird planet that was ruled by Jeff Goldblum?
This is a really interesting conundrum. Is he considered a virgin if his alternate personality has sex?
Well, look, we're talking about that whole thing again. Is the Hulk Bruce Banner? Is Bruce Banner the Hulk? That's a discussion for another day, I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter anyway. Captain America is not a virgin, as we find out in
the end credit scene.
Yeah, where he apparently just had sex with a woman on the US Go show. Wasn't it US Go?
The USO.
USO, that's the one. In World War II, 1945 or something like that.
Yeah, it's such a boring answer to the question that I'm near certain it's a lie.
But it does make me... No, I actually don't think it's a lie. I think it's just fair. I literally just see Bruce Banner and, like, Captain America just talking about it. And him just saying, yeah.
No, I saw someone online say that it was probably like Steve lied so that Tony would stop asking him.
Yeah, I guess.
Because, it's a gag. Oh, yeah, I mean... Who's gonna prod at their sex lives? Tony. Tony would prod at their sex lives.
But here's the thing, right? You could have that, and you could imagine that Cap is just very quiet and said, "I don't want to talk about this," and then you could talk about how Tony talked about his dad being a player back in the day. We're in World War II, and he says, "Well, I got this girl at one stage." Make a joke like that, and that, excuse me.
Yeah.
Plus, wasn't there a blonde-haired one that he seemed to have been a bit interested in, the first Captain America movie?
There was, other than Peggy, there was a receptionist, I think it was, or not a receptionist, someone who was working in the offices.
Yeah.
Who pulled him aside and started making out when Peggy walked in.
Yeah.
It was only for it to be awkward between them for the next couple of scenes and for her to open fire at him. For some reason, everyone would be okay with that.
Well, that's the question. The question is, Cap is a gentleman. He wouldn't, talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's a gentleman from the 40s.
Yeah. At the same time, I can imagine him and Bucky talking shite a lot when they were younger. Now, obviously, he didn't get many of the girls, haven't been so, diminutive, I suppose, which isn't, neither
I mean,
here nor there.
him and Bucky would definitely talk.
Yeah.
Him and Bruce, never.
Yeah. But mind you, he had
they'd
sex with
both be-
Bucky, so you know.
Okay, that's a whole nother conversation.
But yeah, while they're doing it, spaceship arrives. It's it's weird. The spaceship gets mentioned like later on. Like, yeah, I need to catch up on that.
Yeah. Oh, it's a spaceship from Sakaar. They're probably looking for me. And are we going to talk about that? Is that going to be like a thing, or are you just going to say, "Oh yeah, it's just a"? I mean, on one hand, I'm kind of like, yeah, people would be used to it by now, but at the same time, that is a spaceship from Sakaar.
Yeah,
that is after you.
But see, this is the interesting thing. This is what I have a feeling what they're going to do with this show is like plant a lot of seeds of what is currently happening in the MCU without directly like pointing to it.
Yeah,
you know, and there's also still rumors of a World War Hulk movie being made potentially in the future.
maybe.
I mean, I would just like a Hulk movie in general, you know? Just give Mark Ruffalo a fucking Hulk movie.
Give this man a script.
Yeah. Like, I know you can say, oh, Thor movie was kind of a Hulk. No, it wasn't, alright? It was like a buddy cop, sure, but it wasn't his own movie.
I'm gonna say, and I said this, I think I was talking with my girlfriend about this actually.
Yeah.
Thor Ragnarok is a really fun, really good movie, but I think its biggest flaw is that it robbed us of a Planet Hulk story.
Planet Hulk, that's what I meant. It's not World War Hulk. I mean
World War Hulk is another big story that people want.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they can't really do Planet Hulk now. Like, if they did World War Hulk, are they going to do it in reverse then and do Planet Hulk afterwards? It doesn't make sense.
I mean, well, no, they've kind of already done the Planet Hulk plot.
Yeah, because they went, like instead of like the Avengers sending them off as it was in the original one.
I've seen some interesting like theories, and I'm not gonna like go too far into it, but like I've seen some people theorize that the ship that came for Bruce that caused him to crash was from someone who the Hulk had shacked up with on Sakaar, and this was them like backdooring the Hulk's son into the MCU, whose name is Scar, I think.
Wow, so I
I
made a decent point when I said the Hulk had been fucking one.
Yeah, I heard. Now this is just fan theory. I don't think there's any evidence to suggest this, other than like there's rumors about the MCU bringing that character in.
I can just imagine Bruce giving out to his Hulk form saying, "Why didn't you tell me? I'm gonna get so angry with you."
Like this woman comes up and it's like, "Hi, Hulk, I have our son here," and he's like, "Who are you? I have never met you before."
Oh, Mark Ruffalo's gonna play it so well. He's never going to get. Sorry, what?
I'm actually genuinely looking forward to that now.
Yeah.
If that's what that is, I've heard other people say, "Oh, maybe it's the Grandmaster back for his champion." That's the boring answer.
Yeah.
Bring us family drama where the Hulk has a son from 3 years he doesn't remember.
Yeah. Also, here's the thing with the Grandmaster, like any more stuff we find out about the Grandmaster, the less interesting the character is. That was like a nice flash in the pan sort of thing. Let's not.
Yeah. If you bring him back for the smallest of bit parts.
Yeah, I genuinely feel like they've just brought Jeff Goldblum in on the day without him knowing that here. Look, you're just going to play the Grandmaster. If Jeff Goldblum has any sort of like practice for this character, I think it's going to lose some interest, at least to me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the only good part of like the only thing ever they've done with the Grandmaster since then is that DJ scene in What If, and that's the only good part because he did nothing. He just DJ'd a party.
Yeah. But okay, so yeah, the car crashes off the road.
Yeah.
At this stage, we should also say that Bruce Banner is in his human form, and I like that he talks. Like, when he's in his Smart Hulk form, he talks of Bruce Banner as another person, and the Hulk as another person. Like, Smart Hulk is another persona, really. Yeah. You know, he talks as him as separate things. It's not just, this is Bruce Banner's personality in the Hulk's body. This is Bruce Banner's intelligence in the Hulk's body.
Yeah, and that's like very well. It's somewhat accurate to the comics too, because in the comics, Bruce has
Oh, so many.
so many
Yeah,
personalities.
yeah.
So many personalities they're never going to touch on.
No.
Who's that one guy, the Gray Hulk, who's like
Oh,
a
he's in like
fucking
Vegas and he
mobster?
was a mobster. Yeah.
Yeah,
Something weird like that.
give us that movie, then we'll talk.
Oh
But
God, yeah.
but yeah. So him talking about them like his different personalities, very good. But yeah, so they're talking about Captain America's virginity. The
Yeah.
Sakaran ship makes them crash, and
A little
Jennifer
bit of
gets
blood
Jennifer
from.
gets a wound on her arm, and as she's helping Bruce out with the car, he starts bleeding into her wound.
Yeah.
No,
And
this is a bit of a reach.
yeah, like before we were kind of told that, oh, it's she gets a blood transfusion in some of the previous tales, but
Yeah,
in this it's a few drops, and because she happens to have a certain gene sequence like Bruce, she can digest gamma rays or something like that, or use them, I think.
she doesn't get killed by them.
Yeah, and it obviously changes her as well.
Yeah.
But she. Go on.
I don't hate it as an explanation. It
No, it's
takes
fine.
it makes Bruce less culpable for it because he gives the blood transfusion in other versions of her backstory. This is more of an accident, which is in line with a lot of superhero origins. But
and the MCU Hulk is definitely a bit more. I really don't like being the Hulk. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, the comics have the same things. We all know about bullets in the head and all that kind of stuff, but Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner has never been, oh boy, let's be the Hulk. He's never enjoyed being the Hulk. Even when he became Smart Hulk, like he showed there, he made a device to make it so he doesn't have to be the Smart Hulk. He doesn't want to be the Hulk in any way whatsoever.
He probably doesn't want to be Smart Hulk because he dabs too much.
Yeah. He just cringes every time he comes back into normal Hulk. Bruce, like, oh.
The worst part about being Smart Hulk is remembering everything.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we get a bit of a Moon Knight thing going on then, because she kind of turns into She-Hulk. She runs off into the forest, and she wakes up here, and then she falls asleep there. I really like the scene with the girls in the bathroom, where she kind of walked in all beat up, and it's like the instant meme of women in the bathroom saying, we're going to look after you, whatever you need. We're looking after you,
Yeah, it was a nice little scene. She goes in there, they give her shoes, they clean her up. She's got dirt and blood on her and everything. They give her a coat. They let her use their phone to call her cousin.
Yeah.
All that stuff, and then she goes outside and immediately starts getting. It's not immediate harassment, but they do start making it harassment.
Yeah, I mean,
very
we all
quickly.
know where it's going. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's decently uncomfortable scene.
Yeah.
And then she hulks out and the scene cuts.
Yeah. She wakes up on a little island. I think it's
in Mexico. It's in Mexico.
Yeah. Apparently, she finds her cousin underneath the island in a little lab. That's where he's been studying how to become the Smart Hulk in the first place. Him and Tony used to just hang out there. I guess was it him? He was talking a lot about how Tony used to talk about Cap. Which again kind of fed into the whole. They were really just a married couple, weren't they?
They just argued.
Yeah.
To be fair, they had better chemistry than Tony and Pepper did.
Yeah. I mean, I would also say of Carter, to be honest.
Yeah. But it's this Gamma Lab that they're in. That's what it's called, the Gamma Lab.
Yeah.
It seems to be the place that was referenced in Endgame that the Hulk went to.
Yeah, where he was working on becoming, Smart Hulk.
Yeah. I don't think in Endgame they said he built it with Tony.
No, they didn't. No, this is Tony always made sense. I think Tony kind of implied that, this is my lab, but at the same time, it's like, it's your lab. I'm just, I could come back any time. They had a nice little scene where he went, I'll come back one day and just take it all back again, and just that didn't happen.
I like that. This is the first time we've got a glimpse. No, not really, because Happy in No Way Home, but I like that we're getting to see one of Tony's friends, and it's not just the world glorifying like Tony after death.
Yeah.
I like that it's one of his friends who is mourning him in his own way. And like there's little subtle things he does throughout, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, it's a nice little touch.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So they do some tests and all on her trying to like get her anger out, and it becomes very soon apparent. You know, he does the whole let's meditate and let's this is like a multi-year plan. It took me 15 years. It might take you 15 years to get used to being a Hulk. But it kind of goes on like that, and it becomes very apparent very quickly because she's a woman who lives in our times. She had to use her control her rage a lot more throughout her
yeah,
life. Anyway, of men talking over and explaining things to her and all this kind of stuff, and she's just like, I deal with this shit every single day. I can
yeah,
deal with anger, and she seems to already be in control of herself. Like she at once she gets angry and she turns into it. Aha! I gotta say, yeah, I'm in control, and she goes right back to her normal form. You know?
yeah. I think the writing of the scene was a bit blunt, but it was and like I understand what it was going for, and I definitely think that's a good direction to explain why this character is so much better at controlling this than Bruce was.
Yeah, I think it's a good
Um,
point to make as well. You know, she is in an occupation that is dominantly patriarchal.
yeah,
You know, and this is again, she's taken a role from a dominantly masculine character. Like the Hulk
mm,
is the most male thing ever. Like,
yeah.
you know,
I I I do kind of wish she equated a bit more to being to her lawyer training to her emotional control because that is a decent part of the job as well. You have to be in
yeah,
control of your
I
emotion when you
agree with you,
do
Kevin.
that
But
job.
one point I would give against you, it's
I'm
called
not
She Hulk, not Lawyer Hulk.
okay, but you know I want this to be
I
a
no
legal
no
commentary, so
I see what you're coming from, and it's definitely a
yeah.
point, you know. But
I'm
just
I'm not I'm not saying
yeah,
remove all the stuff. I'm
I mean,
saying I would have liked that to
yeah,
have been mentioned a bit
I
more.
would argue we're both coming from the same point anyway, because you know she is
Yeah.
a lawyer that in a patriarchal occupation, and
Mhm.
she has been you know punched across by toxic masculinity all her life, so it's kind of the same domain anyway.
Yeah.
Um, I'm glad they didn't do like period jokes or anything like that because
Hmm.
that was going to lose me very quickly. Because I was waiting for it, like someone's going to say
Uh,
something stupid, isn't it?
they could have. I mean, to be fair, we've got a good few episodes left for them to scrape the bottom of the barrel with
Yeah,
women jokes.
yeah. But I don't think we
Which
got that. I think we got a lot of like positive aspects of
yeah,
women in this, and we also kind of see that Bruce is kind of expecting her to be like him. You have to be the Hulk, and you have to be a hero. You have to do the right thing. That's the power and responsibility and all that kind of stuff is. And she's just like, you don't get to control me. Like I have a job that I want to do that I find important because
hmm,
hey, her job, as we see from the very beginning, is to say that people with power need to be held accountable. What
hmm,
is a superhero if not that? You know? Someone
yeah,
who holds powerful people accountable. Avengers! Literally avenge
yeah,
those who have corrupted things with their power.
yeah. I mean, that's the villains of every Avenger movie. That's Loki. That's
Yeah.
Ultron. That's Thanos. That's either side of the Civil War crisis or whatever. Not really a crisis. The Civil War scuffle.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
The parking car parking lot fight.
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
but yeah, so yeah, one big thing, like, I instantly bought that they were cousins. They did it really well. Like,
yeah.
chemistry's good there.
I like their chemistry was so good. I genuinely wouldn't have batted an eye if someone said they were siblings.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it felt like very close cousins.
yeah, I totally bought these two actors were, and like I said, the dialogue at a few points was a bit blunt and
Yeah,
obvious, but I felt like the actors were doing a good job in playing relatives who knew each other very well and had
yeah.
a very specific we're related to each other bond.
Wasn't there like
Um,
there was a great scene? I can't remember the wording, but she said something about her like being hot or something, And Bruce just goes like, "I'm your cousin." Ew. Please stop.
Oh yeah, they're talking about like doing yoga to like help their anger or like
Yeah.
control their emotions, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it also helps me get a tight ass," or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, ew, gross." like
Yeah.
he's a grown man, but I fully believed it because I
Yeah.
have had these conversations with my sisters.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so we have a little like some physical training as well. You know, we kind of, obviously she's very capable. Being able to throw rocks as well as Hulk, and we have a little bit of like a ego thing when Smart Hulk has to pick up an even bigger boulder, and literally, I literally think I saw like atmosphere leaving like fire on it.
It was burning up on exit.
Yeah. So like he was, and like so, and then we see them like doing like all like handstand kind of things, and we see that Bruce is okay at it. He's a bit twitchy, but she is quite good at it. So I think we're getting the impression that Bruce is probably a little bit stronger. However, she's probably faster and more agile.
I'd say that what's more likely is that he's practiced and she's skilled, is another way of putting it.
But I would even say
with specifically the Hulk thing.
But I would even say just size wise, he is a Hulk. Like his body is a big square box, where she is basically, woman who works out who happens to also be 12 feet tall.
I mean, there's an argument for that within the episode, because later on, there's a scene where she's trying to leave and they get into a fight with each other. That turns into a physical fight, and he does the seismic clap, and it's just an instant clap and huge shockwave.
Yeah.
She gets knocked away.
Yeah.
She can't do it immediately. She has to do like a bunch of claps.
Yeah.
She can't get it quite. Probably because her hands are much smaller as a part of it as well. But
I think that's what they're kind of working on anyway. I think that's what I'm saying. I kind of feel like Hulk is more strength stats, but she's definitely more agility stats, which is also important. Like, as we see, she can debilitate him as well. No bother.
Yeah, they were able to keep. Obviously, when I say they were able to keep up with each other in strength, he was obviously holding back.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I think so was she to an extent. She wasn't going all out either. Like, it was the most lethargic sort of like cousin fight. It was just like, oh, fuck you. They weren't doing it to hurt each other. They were just there to like, look, I want to do my way. You want to do your way. We'll come to an impasse.
Yeah, it wasn't a battle to the death or anything. It was because one of let's be honest, one of them has been the Hulk for maybe
15 years,
maybe a week or two, and the other has been the Hulk for 15 years. By the way, the timeline's a bit weird on that, but has been a bit.
Let's skip past that MCU stuff.
Skip past. MCU doesn't know what its own timeline is.
Yeah.
Just if they ever say, "Oh, it's been however many years," just forget the fucking number.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Move on. They don't keep enough track of that for some reason, despite Feige's brilliant mastermind plan for it. They don't know what year it is in the MCU.
No, they literally no idea whatsoever.
So yeah, and one thing I'm really glad about, because I saw so many people like bitching in like trailers for in like the comments for trailers that they were making the She-Hulk stronger than the Hulk. No, they weren't. It's shown that he can still throw rocks into the atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. If he wanted to, he could pick her up and throw into the stratosphere. Like, we know this,
Like I said, he's practiced, she's skilled.
Yeah.
She's able to do this very quickly because she's just good at it. She's just good at it.
Okay, here's the thing, right? She is a lawyer, but I feel like before either of them turned into Hulks, like, she probably did some exercise, whereas Bruce Banner was in a fucking lab eating pizza, delivered by Stan Lee, and did fuck all, I mean,
she mentioned that she did yoga before.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like,
so
of course.
I would say this. I would say, yes, the Hulk could pick her weight up and throw in that stratosphere. But I would also say that he wouldn't get the time to do it. That's the power levels between them.
Yeah.
Like, she will not let him do that. He could physically do it if she was passive about it, but that's the difference in strength and ability, I think, between them.
Yeah. I'm honestly looking more forward to seeing how she, like, I don't really care about how she matches up with the Hulk because they're not
Yeah.
really going to fight ever.
But just
Unless
to,
we
just to
get-
make a point, because you did
Yeah.
raise the point that people moaned about, people being feminists, and not saying you,
Yeah.
the people you giving out about, were saying
Yeah,
this
no,
shit,
these people are like, oh, it's woke
Yeah.
bullshit. Woman is strong, and like, yeah, woman is strong. She's the
Yeah.
Hulk.
Also,
She's the Hulk, but she.
Also, she doesn't seem to be ran by rage that much.
No,
Because remember,
it seems to be. It's like a trigger by rage, but then she can she can keep her emotions in check.
Yeah, because I mean, with Bruce, he had to go through lots of like gamma ray therapy until he could come up like Smart Hulk. But she's just like, no, I'm okay. I'm in control. That's fine. You know?
Yeah, it's and like they say it's because he had like another personality in him because of like that was I think it was like I don't think it was because of the gamma rays, but he had another personality in him that became the Hulk when he used the gamma rays. If he didn't have that alternate personality, which is a comics thing that I don't know if they're going to go into in the series, I hope they do, but it's a She-Hulk series, so we probably won't get that much more Hulk stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, we're getting like because we know it from the trailers and castings and shit that we know we're getting Abomination in there.
Yeah. Yes, we do. I'll say this for the whole thing. Like, I know we've been talking about strength and all that. I hope we don't see all that much strength. I like her character, her personality as She-Hulk. I like Titania showing up at the end in the courtroom, played by Jamila Jamil, who I absolutely love from The Good Place. You know, great to see her. Yeah, I'm okay with the fisticuffs and all that. But I'm looking forward to like the comedy and like. I mean, one of my favorite jokes in this was Bruce Banner saying, "Who's your best friend?" And she goes like, "Oh, Nikki Remote. Nikki." It's like, "No, spandex."
Yeah. No, it's true. She needs stretchy clothing.
Yeah, and I mean, even like a little hint to us when she was attacked by Titania, which just came out of nowhere, but fair enough. And she's about to like Hulk out, and her friend's like, "Oh, your shoes!" And oh yeah, you know, like don't ruin the shoes, please. They cost money.
Like I like that they're addressing this.
Yeah.
And once again, this is why I want it to be a courtroom thing because I think there's a lot of potential in it being a courtroom comedy. I don't think there's enough courtroom comedies, by the way.
Yeah, I actually think that this show already gives it the vibe. It's going to be mostly comedy. And that's good. I'm glad with
Perfectly fine.
We don't need another Hulk. The way we have Hulk.
And honestly, what I want most from the fight scenes is that she just ends them so quickly because she's so strong.
Yeah.
Because she's She-Hulk, so she is so far above street level just by being part Hulk.
Honestly,
you know,
I'd love like a story about a hero, because we don't know if she's going to really be a hero in this, but like, you know, quotation marks hero, and that was a woman that didn't have to struggle. I would just love it. Like, yeah, she's just fucking strong. She's very capable.
She's good. That's one of the things about She-Hulk that I do know. I didn't mention everything I knew. I was surprised for all the viewers. One of the things I know about her is that she's excessively confident in herself. Like she doesn't really struggle that much except against like Hulk level threats, you know?
Yeah. And we have the Hulk for that, you know?
Yeah. Let her be that lawyer who can punch a guy square across the fucking city, I guess.
Let her be that Hulk that when a guy's about to slap a girl's ass in a cafe, she reaches for his arm and breaks it. Like, let her be that. You know? Let her be a protector in that way.
There's a scene in this is going to sound really weird, non sequitur. There's a scene in Man of Steel. Where Clark Kent is working as a random job at a fucking random diner. In the US, and he sees this guy bothering a woman. And like he intervenes, and the guy fucking chucks his beer at him and tries to push him, but you can't push him because he's Superman, obviously. And then like obviously Clark doesn't fight him, but the guy goes out later and his truck has been destroyed and every log has been pushed through it in every fucking direction. It looks like all that fucking needle game where you have to pull out needles and make sure the
Yeah,
balls don't drop. That's
yeah,
what his truck looks like. Now that was a bit out of character for Clark, that like random assortment of property damage.
yeah,
But for She-Hulk, I totally buy it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's something I'd like her character to do.
yeah.
Um,
She also, one big thing about her, just before we go down that road, is that she really wants to get back to her normal life.
yeah.
Her life as a lawyer, as a defense attorney, taking
Mm.
down politicians. That in this case, I'm not sure what crime he committed, but it was that people died due to choices he made, and they're trying to argue like, is that really his fault though?
Mm.
So yeah. I hope we stick to both. Let the serious stuff be actual cultural issues we have, and let the
Yeah.
comedy be She-Hulk.
Yeah.
You know?
And her striving for normalcy is so it's really good
Yeah,
for this series because it's handled in a different way than Bruce's
yeah,
struggle for normalcy. Because in up until now in the series, Bruce's struggle for normalcy has always been seen as this like very I can
tragedy.
never have a normal life. I'm
Yeah,
tragic. I huddled by myself under a
yeah,
blanket in the helicarrier.
yeah, yeah,
Whereas her struggle for normalcy is like, "Ah, I don't want to rip the, I don't want to rip the suit I'm wearing."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like, that, like, I like that. She's completely fine with being the She-Hulk. She just doesn't want to be a superhero.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is, I'm
Um,
sure she'll have her moments, like with the Titania fight.
mm,
But again, I think that won't. Like, I hope the way they have her do her mission is that she wants to do the law. People want to step in and do something outside of the law, and she wants to make sure that doesn't happen. That's when she uses her powers. That's when she has some court cases. She might be, knocking some skulls together as well. Fairly sure that will happen, but
yeah,
let it be in the pursuit of her job.
yeah. I mean, if Mr. Matt Murdock can dress up as a fucking devil and go into the night and beat up criminals who are related to his court cases, I think She-Hulk can do it too, and probably quicker, I'm going to be honest. She
Yeah.
doesn't have to bother with the stealth thing. She just kicks down a door, bashes some guys' heads together, and jumps out the fucking roof.
Here you said something else, by the way.
Hmm.
Obviously you said Abomination's going to be there.
Yeah.
We know Wong is
Hmm.
going to be there, and we know Daredevil's going to be there, right?
Yes.
Abomination, last time we saw him was
Hmm.
in the Rings. What's that Rings movie?
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, and him and Wong seem to get on. Like they give
Yeah.
like a thumbs up to each other. So I feel like Abomination, at least he's probably not an evil dude.
No. I think he's because I feel like a lot of his evilness in the Incredible Hulk was a strive for power and also being high on experimental Hulk procedures.
Yeah,
Which like that was the movie.
it was a very quick change for him. Like,
Yeah, very very sudden. Like he was like, "We're making you a super soldier," and he got fucking crushed under a tank and then
yeah,
healed. And they're like, "Oh, we can make you more of a super soldier," and then he got fucking bodied again. And then
yeah,
he heals and he goes and he finds a guy who's got a fucking jar of Hulk blood, and he's like, "Hey, can you make me Hulk?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And then he jabs that guy, and that
yeah.
blood leaks on the other guy's head, and he becomes the leader. And we never hear or see from him again.
Yeah, I suppose. Um, I mean, if you dissolved into water after a big massive fight with the Hulk, maybe
Mm,
you decide to change things in your life as well. You
yeah,
know. Also, like we've said, it's been like 15 odd years.
yeah,
People can change. You know. I'm
yeah.
saying like that fight area with Wong and all that obviously wasn't like pure paladin good people being there. Like it was a little underground.
I would argue that it was mostly the opposite of pure paladin good
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah. But at the same time, it wasn't like, haha, we're villains, let's twirl our mustaches. It was like, that's why one could go there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bunch of like criminals doing like dirty fights,
Yeah.
and also Wong was there.
But
um,
I'm just saying, like, the place is not so evil that Wong
yeah,
doesn't fit. You know,
How much? Slight tangent. How much money do you think Wong earns from doing those fights? Do you think
enough to
he's
buy those ice creams named after Avengers? I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm guessing the Supreme. What's it called? The Wizard Warlock Supreme.
Oh, Sorcerer Supreme.
Sorcerer Supreme. I guess they don't have a wage. You know.
I mean, like your wage is pretty much just what Camertage has. Is Camertage like? Do they get like fucking government benefits as an organization or something?
Do they have to pay rent for every place the house is? Because
Is
the house is in multiple places.
Is Camertage like? Do they get religious benefits?
I mean, do they have to pay tax?
Exactly. Does Camertage pay tax? Does Camertage pay tax in any of the places that they have set up?
To be fair, now that it's like the multiverse, maybe they just do deliveries. They just like open a gate and says, "Yeah, just how much is it? Do you know, hey, for this batch to be sent across the world, $6,000. I'll do it for $1,000. All right, cool. Off you go, thanks." And he just does that a bunch of times.
So Camertage is now Amazon Prime, is what we're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, cool. Now with Camertage, Amazon can deliver with next minute delivery with a new deluxe package.
So I'm looking at IMDb, and again, with IMDb, everything should be, pinch of salt. But
yeah,
Bruce seems to be in every single episode this season.
That's odd.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd buy that.
I would question that. I'd say he's in a few episodes.
But the interesting thing is, right? So it's there with She-Hulk, Bruce Banner, Nikki Ramos, Titania. They're all 9.
Yeah.
But then, Tim Roth, as Abomination, he is only there for 8 episodes, and so is Wong. So, I mean, and some people are there for 7 episodes and 1 episode. So someone's getting some facts right. Like, it's a little ambiguous otherwise.
Yeah. Like from what I've gathered from the trailers, the main like through line plot seems to be once she gets out of She-Hulk, she gets picked up by a legal company who wants to specifically specialize in superhero and supervillain related crime.
Yeah.
Or legal activity in specific. And they bring She-Hulk in as the face of that, which, by the way, I kind of love that as a premise, and that's why I want this to be a legal legal comedy.
Yeah.
And the big thing is that she will be handling Abomination's case.
Which is interesting, because, he has a history, as we all know, with a certain cousin of hers.
Yeah, I really, really like this concept.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for. I kind of just really enjoyed Tim Roth in most things he's in. He's the only thing I like about Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
Here's a question.
And,
I hope Daredevil goes against She-Hulk in the court.
You mean that he's the opposing lawyer?
Yeah.
Like she's there to get him cleared of some charges, and he's there to indict him.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That sounds brilliant, and I want that.
Yeah, that sounds really fucking good. I really hope that happens now. I think I'd be disappointed. Oh no, I've become one of those fans that if someone doesn't have it the way I wanted to, it won't be good. Oh no.
Oh no, it isn't Mephisto.
The judge will be Mephisto.
The judge is Mephisto.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
New reality accepted. If it doesn't fit this reality, then I hate everything.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think that's pretty much the episode.
Yeah. Like we skipped over a lot, but to be fair, the episode was very loose.
There wasn't much to the episode. There was
no.
Hey, we're a lawyer. Haha, look, I'm Hulk, and I'm my cousin. Aha, I'm back in court, and hey, Titania's there, and she just punched me across the room. I guess she was no idea about Titania. I have a wiki open.
Yeah. What's Titania's power? Tell me.
I mean, I imagine she's very strong.
I hope so. I hope her power can take a punch from She-Hulk.
I mean, she went full Family Guy. Oh yeah, through the wall, so.
Yeah. Maybe she's just her power is that she creates holes in walls by touching them.
Why is she there? Do you think she was hired?
So I have a thing open, and the comics say that Titania was a villain, who first of all is She-Hulk's greatest rival,
Okay.
but is also a brawler created by Doctor Doom. Now, I am not getting my hopes up because Doctor Doom is my Mephisto. I am striving for Doctor Doom to make an appearance.
Oh, could you imagine if this is how they introduced Doctor Doom?
If they introduced Doctor Doom and She-Hulk, I would legitimately not know how to feel.
I wouldn't feel happy about it. It'd be such a not again. I'm enjoying She-Hulk, but she's not the sage.
She's not where you put down the Doctor Doom roots.
Yeah.
Doctor Doom is a villain who Marvel has to build up before they kill him off in the one movie. I'm actually calling shade on you, Marvel. I'm getting tired of it. Stop killing off your villains, Marvel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd love Doctor Doom to show up somewhere, but don't think She-Hulk. But again, maybe it's going to be one of those things where they hint, like I was implying, that they may be mentioning a lot of things that are happening right now in the MCU in She-Hulk, just not explain it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't want them to say Doctor Doom. I want them to say Latveria. That's all I want.
Yeah.
If they say something Latveria, that's all I need. Just sprinkle in Doctor Doom. Here's the thing. I don't really super want Doctor Doom yet because I don't want him to be overshadowed by Kang.
Yeah.
Because they're doing stuff with Kang right now.
I don't think Kang could ever overshadow Doom for me.
No. When I say overshadow, I mean that they give Kang more stuff, and Doom is just like a thing that they have in the back.
The thing is, right, can you think of a character in the MCU that could overshadow Doom? And I don't mean strength-wise. Character-wise.
I mean character-wise?
Yeah.
Of the characters in the MCU, the only one I could think of is maybe this is just because I'm a fanboy. Willem Dafoe Green Goblin. But that's it. And he's not coming back.
No.
Unless my dreams come true. But no. No, and here's the thing. I am so Doctor Doom is my endgame for the MCU currently. I just need to see a good Doom because by God, they have not given us a good Doom. We got Pretty Boy Doom, and we got what the fuck was that Doom?
Yeah, and honestly, Pretty Boy Doom was a lot better.
Once you've seen what the fuck was that Doom, you go back to Pretty Boy Doom, and you're like, you know what? You're not Doom.
Just Thanos style. I think I judged you too harshly.
Legitimately.
I'm sorry, my boy. You weren't that bad.
Oh god! And then the second movie where he's like, "I also am the Silver Surfer now," and no, get off the board, please.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll leave it at that for today.
Yeah, I think there's not much more to say on the episode. We've riffed a lot, but that's because the episode not much happened, and that's not a mark against the episode. Yeah. I will say this episode was fun, but there wasn't a lot.
They were catching up a lot. They were just doing, hey, she's the Hulk now, you know who she is, and she's back to being a lawyer. Off you go. And you feel, unlike Spider-Man and Batman, we needed her origin story a little bit,
Yeah. There's a thing, I think comic book movies really need to learn this, is there's some heroes we want the origin story to, and some that if you show me that uncle getting capped again.
To be fair, she talked a lot about responsibility and
power.
Yeah. I think we'll leave it at that, folks.
I think we will.
Yeah,
looking forward to next week's episode.
Yeah, I definitely was like, oh, is it over already? That's a shame. One quick thing before we go on.
Yeah.
CG. That was a big thing. People it was fine.
It was. There was times.
Okay, yeah.
There was times.
But did it really take you out? Did you actually go, oh, that's awful?
No. There was a few times where I was like, their mouths are moving a bit weird. But
oddly, Hulk had more moments for me.
Hulk honestly was worse.
It's like they had the Hulk model but it's
But they
so super detailed that would take
Yeah.
weeks to make anything work with it. So I went, shit.
Legitimately, I think that was what happened. Where
Yeah.
they just had this really good Hulk model, but like, fuck, that we have to animate the Hulk model.
yeah. Because he
Um,
did weird things with like his nose and his mouth at times when talking to her. Like, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
They did one nice detail during their fight. He did the fucking shoulder thing shrug that Hulk does during fights, but Bruce doesn't do.
yeah.
It's great.
Um,
I have one question for you before we end.
Go on.
How do you think this compared to the other openers to Disney Plus Marvel shows? Like, do you think this is as good as, say, the opener to like? I'm trying to think. Probably the best opener for me was Moon Knight. What do you think? How do you think this ranks in terms of the openers?
It's like
for Disney?
comparing. It's like comparing like Sex on the Beach with like coffee. Like they're both
When you
good.
say sex on the beach, are you talking about the drink or?
They're cousins. I'm talking about the drink when him Tony Stark talked about exes. Like Captain America on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think they're quite different. I very much enjoyed the first episode of Moon Knight. I thought it was mysterious, but I don't know. I'm good with just some light-hearted fun as well. Like, it didn't have to, like, there's mystery here, and more of a mystery, and more of a mystery. It's just like, yeah, she's the She-Hulk now, and she does lawyer shit. Let's see where this goes. Like, that's it. There's no, like, oh, what could this be? Like, the only one is, like, Titania, but it's like, okay, this seems to be the strong one. But like, the moment she appeared, she's like, alright, I guess I have to fight her. Alright. Yeah. And she fought her really well.
If the only plot of this series is just the court case about Abomination, great, A+. I don't need a world-ending threat.
No, I don't need mysteries and mysteries. Like, you know,
I really, really, we didn't review it, but I really, really enjoyed Miss Marvel.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was probably, might be my favorite Marvel show personally.
But I think its biggest failing was the stakes were too high for what it was.
Yeah, the whole multiverse plane thing, destruction of reality stuff. Yeah, it was a bit too much. It was MCU movie size things, and we didn't need that.
Yeah, it was way too big for what it was. Yeah. The final episode of Miss Marvel fixed that by just making a personal story. They fixed the issue by the penultimate, and then it was better in the last episode. Perfect.
Why won't how She-Hulk? I just wanted to be like a female, just a woman lawyer, and how she deals with life of also being a Hulk. That's all I want. That's all. Nothing else. I'm happy with that.
If this is a slice of life about a lawyer who has superpowers, that's the perfect show.
Yeah. Like, we've seen all the heroes. Every single person who's got power so far in the MCU became a fucking superhero. Yeah. Except, like,
the ones who became villains.
Like, no, Tony's wife, Pepper. Like, she got powers, and then she got powers taken away, but then she also appeared at the end in her Iron Woman suit, so I was like, ugh.
I mean, we don't know what, well, no, never mind. I was about to say we don't know what she's going to do in that Armor Wars show, but first of all, she's never coming back, and second of all, Armor Wars was suspiciously missing from the last time Disney decided to talk about the Marvel lineup.
I remember when the Falcon and Winter Soldier show came out, and like, because Kazi and I were talking about, Owen and I were talking about it on the podcast the other day. Yeah, like we were saying, like, that just disappeared. Like I felt like it was going to be right around the corner after, like, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, it was going to be like a year or two later. Nope, just gone. Yeah, roadies hit the road.
Legitimately, that was the show I was most excited about. Yeah, because while I now look back, and Moon Knight and Miss Marvel were great, and She-Hulk looks like, at least this first episode was pretty good, and I don't know what the rest is going to be like, but at least I got a good first episode. Yeah. But the rest of Armor Wars is gone. I mean, I guess there's Ironheart. Maybe they're bringing Armor Wars into Ironheart. Maybe. I wish they'd have explained that. Yeah. But I wish they told me what happened.
Yeah. It might. I think maybe we'll have him show up during Wakanda, because he seems to hang out there anyway. Because he teased Bruce at one time about, oh, he's a king, you need to bow. It's like, no, you don't.
We don't do that here.
So yeah, I'm happy with it being it for now, and we'll be back next week. Thank you for listening, folks. Let us know what you thought of the episode. Let us know how many people have a new fetish. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Asher Low.